Of the millions of seller accounts that have been created since Amazon first came around, only 2% of people end up selling something online, and Amazon Australia is no different. So why is it that the rate of failure is so high, and what can you do to make sure that you're part of that 2%? Today I'm going to be going over the 3 main reasons that cause people to fail whenever they're starting a new Amazon FBA business. And if you find that you've been stuck on any of these points, or you're stuck on anywhere across the Amazon journey, I have a playlist link below that is all of my videos that give you a full guide completely free on how to go from zero to launched on Amazon. It's every step of the way. But without further ado, let's get into reason number 1. Now, this is one of my favorite reasons, especially for Amazon Australia, and that is that people just aren't playing the long game. A lot of people come in and create a seller account and tell people they're going to be starting an Amazon business, and they think they can get something to sell online and they're going to be making millions of dollars within a month. And they don't realize that the Amazon FBA business model is very similar to other business models in a lot of ways, especially that it takes time and it takes money. It can take up to your 3rd reorder until you actually start making profit, because you want to cement yourself in the market, you want to get reviews and start creeping your price up. So sometimes it can take a seller up to a year's time until they start making those big amounts of money and start repaying themselves. But I always say to people, like, do you think it would be worth it? Would you be willing to wait a year of not making any money to be suddenly making $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month profit? Like, I'd be willing to work for a year of making no money in order to do that. But I hear a lot of people who come in and after a month, they say, no, doesn't work. Amazon's a scam.
Sounds like a get-rich-quick scheme. Yes, thank you. You will get rich quick. We all will.
You'd be surprised how many times I've heard that over the years. And the same goes for the amount of money that you need to get started. And now I've made videos on it, and you can get started for like $100 or $1,000, but I don't believe that it is a proper business. It's on a very small scale, and there's a lot of room for error when you're working with these really small margins. And like I said, you're gonna need capital to keep reordering your stock, because a lot of the times you're not gonna make money or even lose money on those first couple of orders. So having those realistic expectations set in place from the start, and especially with Amazon Australia, it's such a big opportunity because it's a growing market. So whilst you might get in now and your first couple of orders, you don't make the most amount of money, sales are slower, but over the next year, the next 2 years, the next 5 years, as Amazon Australia continues to explode like it is, you were one of the ones that had patience, was playing the long game and got in there early. And in that 3 to 5 years time, when you've got these products that are doing $50,000, $100,000 a month, and everyone's looking at you like, oh man, it was lucky you got in there early, but it was actually because you had that patience and you were willing to play the long game. And now reason number 2 is one of the most important reasons for me, because I think it's one of the easiest ways to drastically change the quality of your life. And that is listening to the people around you. Now, I know you've probably heard this before, but let me relay this story and see if it sounds familiar. And you've probably heard it from someone like this and all of our typical Australians who say, make sure you save all your money you can, mate, and buy the big banks and she'll be right. Right? Like, we're not taught, especially in Australia, how to make money or make money in this kind of fashion. And it's just to invest in like Commonwealth or ANZ or any of these big banks, and maybe you'll chuck some in your super extra and you'll make an extra $2,000 over the next 20 years. So of course, when you come out and you tell people that you want to start this kind of business and they see the kind of potential that it has, they're going to throw rocks at you. They're going to say, hey, that's a bad idea. Don't risk it. You know, just play it safe, put it into these big banks. You're going to get those little bits back. But they don't have the same dreams as you, they don't have the same knowledge as you, and they don't have the same belief in themselves. So of course they're going to try and drag you down to their level. A lot of the times it can even be the people you wouldn't think, like your friends and family. Now, when you're launching into Amazon, you're trying to go into this jungle that is Amazon. You're up in the plane, ready with your parachute, about to jump out, And these people and your friends are on the ground with their binoculars watching you, ready to laugh for you to crash and burn. They've got their little Tim Tams there that they're dipping in their cuppers, and they're chatting away about how, oh, I told them so, and oh, they should have just done this and played it safe instead. While you're soaring through the sky, you're the one doing the dangerous hard work, trying to aim for that little bit of jungle, that little niche that you're going for that's going to ensure a safe winning landing. So you're trying to create a new life, new amounts of money, and in order to have something you've never had, you have to do something that you've never done. And sometimes that is surrounding yourself with new people and cutting those kind of people out. Even sometimes if they're friends or family, it's about separating yourself from them, because you need to be able to jump from that plane, have the courage and miss, and then get back up, go into the plane and go again, no matter what they're telling you around you, because no matter what, you always have to have that belief in yourself. And the third reason, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, you didn't have to call me out like that, but it is the lack of consistent action. Like I said earlier, only 2% of people that register an account end up selling on Amazon, and that's because not enough people take concise, constant action. And you know, I talk to people and they say like, oh, Amazon doesn't work, Lockie, like it's too saturated, it's just not for me. And I say, okay, well, like, when was the last time that you sat down and worked on it? And they're like, oh, well, you know, like I was at it like last week for a day. And I was like, okay, well, while you were at it, like how long were you at it for? And they were like, oh, well, I sat down for half an hour and I sort of used ZonGuru and like looked around there, but I didn't really get it. I was like, okay, well, before that, when were you last at it? And they're like, it was like 2 weeks before that. And then you suddenly realize, you know, there's weeks or months in between, whereas you need to be working on this every single day, which I know can sound hard for a lot of people. I know there's a lot of busy parents out there and people that work full-time jobs, but I have a really good friend who was working a big corporate job here in Australia, and he didn't have a lot of free time at all, but he was able to set aside an hour of time every single day to work on his Amazon business. And now he has a thriving Amazon business that does over $15,000 in sales every month here on the Australian marketplace. So I guess you can either look at it that like, yes, I'm busy. Yes, I'm a mum. Yes, I'm a dad. Yes, I have to work as well. Yes, I want to do fitness, but I also want to make this change. And it's not about I can't do it. It's about how can I do it? Sit down, block out your time. I work from here to here. I need to cook dinner here and here. I'm seeing these people here. Okay, I've got an hour of time in here. Maybe you're going to lose half an hour of sleep every single night. Okay, maybe you can't watch that show that you want to watch. Maybe you can't go out and buy that junk food that you buy every single week. Maybe you can't see that toxic friend anymore, right? But it's these sacrifices that need to happen to protect that goal, to protect that dream that you've set, to achieve these new standards, to make that new money. And you just need to remember, this life that you're creating, you're doing it for those people, right? If you've got those kids, you're doing it for your kids. Imagine the things they can do, the school that they can go to, the sports they can play, the places you can travel with them. You're doing it for that partner, for your friends, for your family. So sometimes you need to have that break. You need to separate yourself from them for that set period of concise time. And that's what's going to allow to you joining that 2% to creating that new life that everyone's trying to drag you down and away from. So I hope I've scared you. I don't want to say sorry because it's not easy. If it was easy, everyone would be able to do it. But it's just about starting. You don't understand how powerful you are. And when you look at me and a lot of people, I'm no different to you. I used to just be a university student who was studying to become a teacher, and I had no idea about money at all. And it wasn't until one day, and I just started, and I was horrible. I was really bad. I've failed at this so many times. I failed at YouTube so many times. I failed at everything and made a fool of myself so many times. But I don't care what those people who are sitting there with their Tim Tams are saying. I always get back up in the plane and go again. And I hope that I can instill that belief in you, because for one, I will always believe in you and always be the one sitting away from those others, cheering you on to get back in that plane. So if you need any other help, just message me on Instagram or leave a comment below. I always respond to them eventually. But I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. And remember, you're only one product away from living the life of your dreams. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'm going to see you in the next video. Peace.